All right, guys, this is A&P Tech here again. So we got the car up and running. Because we disconnected the battery, we'll have to reset some of the things, such as probably the date. We'll have to reset the clock on here, but the temperature is just about ready for the water temperature sensor to set the fan in motion. You can see the fan is not moving just yet. It's pretty much still. You can see it's not spinning. So what we can do before the water reaches temperature, we can turn the AC on and make sure that that switch activates the fan. So we'll turn the AC on. That's blowing. And sure enough, the fan, as you can tell, is spinning. We're gonna shut the fan off and make sure that the water temperature sensor will turn the temperature on, and that should come on at about anywhere between 80 and 100 degrees Celsius. So this is still going to take a minute. Now, I just want to be clear on a couple of things here. You'll notice that I also removed the bottom shroud. As you can see, I had to also remove the bottom shroud to access the fan on the bottom. That's usually removed for when you have to replace the oil as well. And you can see the 3 clips. 1, 2, and 3, your 3 retaining clips. Your 2 10mm bolts. There they are right there. And this baby is about to reach temperature. Now also what I did, and y'all don't have to do what I did, but being in the field of I'm in the aviation business, so a lot of precautions are used to make sure we don't fry any electrical. So in my case, I used an electrostatic discharge wristband for when the time came to connect the electricals, lest any electricity should move and fry some of the components in here. Also, when you install the fan, make sure that it engages the radiator right about along the lip here, so that it gives you a nice and tight seal around the radiator. Now this thing should be reaching temperature here shortly, and yeah, hopefully they'll wipe. Now, what are the telltale signs? Now, this car, as much as it is a Mercedes, it's not as sophisticated as an airplane, and it's not gonna give you on your caution panel that your fan stopped working. But these are your telltale signs. Your wife will come to you and say, honey, the air conditioning is not blowing, it's cold, and I don't understand what it is. It's 103 degrees. Obviously, the fan is always going to fail when it's 100+ degrees outside. So when the air conditioner is not blowing as cold, that's a telltale sign. Now, you listen to your wife when she tells you that. Also, your temperature will run slightly above your average temperature, which is already above the middle of the gauge, as you can see. Now, so long as you're not, this car is very efficient when it comes to cooling the coolant inside of the radiator and through the engine, so long as you're moving along. But once you get in a stop and go traffic lights, this thing will reach temperature, or will reach overheating temperature in no time at all. So long as you're moving, the car will still cool down, and the air conditioner will still blow somewhat. Obviously, as you can tell, this car has been running for 18 minutes, and the fan is not on yet, but it's also not reached temperature. Usually it's between the 80 mark and the 3/4 line right there that the fan will come on. So yeah, these are your telltale signs of when the fan is no longer working. So pay attention to your wife when she says to you Honey, the air conditioner is not blowing as cold. I don't understand what it is. Chances are, either the switch in the condenser is not working or the fan is not working altogether. Pretty much, we're waiting for this thing to reach temperature and for this fan to come on, and hopefully this fan should be coming on shortly. Now, I don't want to make this too long of a video and keep you hanging, waiting on me for this fan to come on. I'm pretty confident that the fan is going to come on. Now, mind you, it is somewhere around 80 degree Fahrenheit today, so it's not as hot as usual. So yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to put the car back together for the wife so that she told me to winterize the car so that her and our daughter can drive safely, and then the snowy conditions, considering we're in Utah here, which is kind of pretty around here. So yeah, this fan should be coming on shortly. So yeah, just fixing the little things. I had also these doors. These latches are very sensitive since we're not really, I know I talked about it. I ended up having to remove these latches and lube them and clean them all up because very fine dust and dirt in Wyoming seized these latches. And oftentimes just a little bit cleaning and lubing will get these latches up and running again. Temperature is almost there. Waiting on this baby to do its thing. Speaking of coolant, while we're waiting for the car to warm up, always be careful of what kind of refrigerant you use, because this car has an aluminum block and heads. You should be using OEM recommended coolant. Make sure that it's a 50-50 mixture of distilled water, not your faucet water, your distilled water, and a coolant. Oftentimes in the ethylene glycol phosphate free, but always call your local dealer to find out what coolant it is. Now, as for what kind of coolant I use for this car, I believe it's a Xerox. Let's take a look. It should be right back here somewhere. Put in the chemical cabinet. For this car, I use a Xerox G48, which is an antifreeze coolant for BMW, Mercedes, and so on. And it has the chemical characteristics required by the manufacturer. So you always stick to the manufacturing specifications. You can't go wrong. That's your release of liability. That's what you could use with your manufacturer. If they ask you a question, well, did you do everything according to specifications? Well, you could say, yeah, I did. Come on, baby. Do your thing. Come on, do your thing. This should be coming on any second. I see what I mean when I say to you, this car is very efficient in keeping the engine cool, and very seldom will it heat up as you're driving along, because it contains a lot of fluid as it is. This thing has got over 2 gallons of coolant through the engine, and it's a big unit. Come on, baby, come on. Bring me the temperature. Start spinning. As always, guys, if these fans, if these videos help you in any way, shape, or form, please like and subscribe for more videos just like this. And I'll do whatever I can to help you guys out. Now, as you already know, probably the maintenance manuals are not available for these Mercedes. So, much like you, I too go on YouTube and research, and I have a little bit of mechanic inclination and some experience also. I mean, being a mechanic since I was 11 years old. I've been doing this for 37 years, and not necessarily always working on cars. I worked on everything: business jets, helicopters, cars, trucks, diesel, gasoline, jet fuel, you name it. So yeah, hence the AM&P. AM&P stands for Airframe and Power Plant. I have a federal certification. Come on, baby. Do your thing. Start spinning. That's it. Now, the next thing I want to do, I like to clean this. I like to clean this car eventually. Under this hood, you could, you know, having a clean working area makes for an easier. It's easier on you, and it's more pleasurable when everything is clean. All right, temperature is almost there. This fan should be coming on shortly. As you can see, temperature outside is 80 degrees Fahrenheit today, so it's already cool as it is. Now obviously you always want to move back and forth to make sure that this thing does not reach excessive temperatures, and what ends up being a problem is something else rather than the fan. So always be careful. And keep an eye on things, as you notice I've been doing, moving back and forth. Make sure this thing doesn't get too hot. It's still within range, but we should be getting there. And here we go. The temperature sensor also works. The fan kicked in. But like I said, guys, if these videos help you, please like and subscribe. And you guys have a great day. Bye.